Okay, let's go. It's legacy time. I'm running a little bit late tonight, but it's all right. We're okay. Hopefully everything is fine. All right. So I need to get the deck that I am playing. So let me get the cards. Builder, come on. So we're gonna play Legacy today. Have to. Where is it? Here. Fishies. Get the deck list. Alright, now I don't need Brazen Borrower because I own those. I do not need Cavern of Souls because I have those. And I don't need forces. So. Right, okay. This is the old one. Alright, we're gonna make a new one. Yeah, that's fine. Thought I said to. Oh, that's the old modern list. Okay. All right, excellent. Okay. So, wow, and because I have all the forces and caverns, it only actually costs me 100 ticks to rent all these cards. Excellent. But we're going to have them in just a minute here. Oh yes, this is my Harry Potter chalice here now. You can see I am Ravenclaw as fuck. Excellent. Full trade list. Please give me cards. We will get to this. Alright. Fuck, I didn't need all the islands. Oh well. Do-do-do. I always forget to take islands out because I have a stack of islands to use, so I don't need them to give them, because they will just give you random islands. It's never consistent. So if I could request specific islands and get them, like, then I would probably do that, but I don't need random islands. I have enough of those. All right, go and add a deck. Import fish. Oh fuck! You know what? I wanted to play. All right, yeah. Tux has said I should play one Otawara, so you know what? I'm gonna do that. Can I request another card? I want to play one. Yeah, we may as well play with the new card. So if we're gonna play with March, we may as well put the land in too. All right, so we'll have that in just a second. But otherwise, everything else is going to be fairly similar to what the last list that I played was. And I'll talk about this here in a second, but we basically have everything good here. Can make this a little bit bigger. Yep. Okay, excellent. Get. All right. Have to make a note to, when I put the deck list on the YouTube upload, to change it to make sure this is in the list. Okay, any day, mana traders. Any day now. Alright, that took way too long. Okay. Let's see. Chat, how are you guys doing? I know there's a couple people here. We're waiting. Excellent. Alright, that looks great. Okay, we can make these bigger too. Beautiful. See? Looks great. Alright. Oh, this is covering it up. Let me... Nope, this one. This is the one I want to use for this. Alright, there you go. Now you can see the whole list. So, yeah, if you watched my last Rock Talk, you know that, like, I did pretty well with Merfolk in the Legacy 10K. I just barely missed out on getting prizes with it, but I was the only Merfolk player there, having gone through the, like, 300-some deck lists that were submitted, and I ended up 6-3 with it. The only card that I wasn't particularly pleased with was Harbinger of the Tides. So, instead of Harbinger, we're going to try this card, because this was the first thought that I had with this, and honestly, like, I wanted to play this in Legacy before I even thought about it for Modern, because this is something that might actually help Delver significantly. March of Swirling Mist. Alright. So, yeah, this is a new Kamigawa card. So, it's a 1 in X cost, but you can either pay mana for X, or you can exile blue cards from your hand to make it cost 2 less. So effectively, every blue card you exile from your hand you can target two more creatures. Or you can just use mana. So like if you pay 3 mana, you can phase out 2 things. But I thought that this was a pretty interesting card, because this was a way to like push through lethal damage. You can like effectively fog an attack plus get a strong attack of your own in where your opponent can't block. It's almost like you're playing, like, okay, so let's say that you have this card and 1 Suspend in your hand. It's kind of like you have casted, or I'm sorry, if you have this card and like 1 random blue card, it's like casting 2 Suspends. So, I think it's actually not too bad. And then, you know, if you want to pay mana for it in addition or exile more cards, it just gets more effective. Like if you, let's say, you exile 2 cards. Well, now it's like for 3 cards you're casting 4 Suspends. And I think that's powerful enough where I want to try it. So yeah, it phases out creatures, so they don't get ETB triggers either, which is kind of nice. Other than that, I'm not really changing much. I'm cutting 1 basic island to play 1 Otawara. Just because it's a free bounce spell. It's something that, like, you can use it to bounce a Murktide, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like, if you have the 4 mana, says we're not playing any legends in this list, but if you have the 4 mana, like, it just randomly bounces Murktide, and, like, you know, they're not keeping Stifle in against us, so they don't really have any interaction for this. So sometimes it's uncounterable bounce, which is kind of cool. It doesn't get affected by things like Thalia or anything like that. And, you know, it's just pretty powerful in general. There are some decks that play choke, so, like, it does matter a little bit for that, but not really. It's mostly just a free land. I mean, sometimes it's going to eat a wasteland, but maybe once in a while it'll actually, like, be our saving grace. Kind of like, for a long time, Merfolk played a main deck Echoing Truth, just so that we didn't, like, auto lose to Ensnaring Bridge. Well, it kind of fills that role, so you have an out to play towards if you ever go up against that. But the rest of the list, I think, is going to stay basically the same here. I mean, the only other thing that you could consider is maybe you don't need the 4th Glasspool Mimic, but I think this is fine for now. I don't really, there's not a whole lot else I want to change. I think I'm good with this. We could, like, maybe cut 1 Glasspool and bring, like, an extra force into the main deck or something, but I think this is fine. Because I changed the sideboard slightly, so we're keeping our Null Rods and our Grafdigger's cages, but I cut 1 Force of Negation from the 75 and 1 Dismember, so I could add 2 Flusterstorms, Just because I think the Flusterstorms are going to be better against a lot of stuff like the Hull Breacher deck. It'll be great against Doomsday, because it's stuff where if they like go for it and then you just like Flusterstorm, and they can't force all of the storm copies, so gets through that. I mean, it's still good against stuff like Reanimator, where if you have the island out and you pass, like, it'll get through a Chancellor of the Annex trigger because of the storm. Only the first copy you cast is countered by Chancellor of the Annex, so storm copies will still resolve and counter their Entomb, assuming that's what they go for. So Flusterstorm's pretty strong against a lot of those decks, but really, like, Doomsday is the one that I'm mostly concerned about. That, and also like the Days and Doing stuff. I saw like those two decks were fairly popular, so I wanted a little bit more stuff against them. So we'll see how this works out, but I think that these will help. And I mean, it still sort of covers the same role as Force. We do lose one Dismember when, like I said, if I'm really worried about like this extra copy of Dismember, maybe I can cut a Glasspool for it or something. But I'm also thinking with the marches in the main deck, like maybe we don't need to worry about as Dismember quite as much. So we'll have to see how this does. But anyway, this is what I wanted to try out because, yeah, this card in particular, I'm hoping that is going to help us against Delver a lot. So with that in mind, let me get back here. Let's go play our league. Legacy League. Excellent. And one of the reasons I'm playing this right now is I have a 1K this weekend that I want to practice with, because if I like how March plays, I might play it in my 1K, so we'll have to see. You could run Wasteland. Like, I think for me personally, it's really, really close between like Mutavault and Wasteland. I don't fault anybody for running either one of them. I think they're both very reasonable. But I think if I was going to lean on Wasteland more, I might change up my deck list slightly. Maybe I might consider running Chalice alongside Wasteland, so it does get a little bit better with that. I might consider Tideshaper more. This hand looks like it's okay. We have at least 2 lands. If oh god, we're fucked. This is not okay. We are on the draw versus Reanimator, and we don't have Force, but it doesn't matter because it looks like they're just gonna combo off like with impunity anyway. So they revealed a Chancellor on the play, like, and they kept 7 cards for this. So we basically just lose on the spot to this. So if they like play Lotus Petal fucking Reanimate, we just concede. We don't even tell them what we're doing. If I don't draw, like, if they pass to me and I don't draw Force, then I'm just gonna concede. If I draw the Force, then I can play Island plus Aether Vial to get rid of the trigger. But, like, it seems like it's probably hopeless. Oh, that's not good. They have 5 cards in hand. The odds that they don't have it are just, like, so low. Alright, whatever. If for some reason they didn't find a reanimation spell, then maybe we can draw Force, but like yeah, this fucking sucked. Alright, that'll do it. I don't have a Force. Yikes. Alright. What are you gonna do? That's how that goes on the play. Alright. Well, the good news is we have a lot of cards for this. We can take out March. This card is not useful here. We can take out True-Name Nemesis. This card's not useful here. Actually, Brazen Borrower is not terrible. I think I will take out probably one Glasspool Mimic. Since we're not playing True-Name here, we don't really need to get up to 3 mana that badly. I think I can afford to cut one. This is just how it's going to be. So, we're on the play here, so, I mean, we just stick, like, Grafdigger's Cage or something, that'd be awesome. Chancellor's a little bit harder for us to beat without Chalice because we don't have something at 0 mana to throw into it. So if they have like Chancellor, we can't just jam Grafdigger's Cage in turn 1. We have to like throw away a spell in order to like have Forces be live. Or, you know, hold up Flusterstorm because that can at least get through it. That's also hard if they have like Grief into their package too, so. Just have it on the play with no mulligans. Like, yeah, that's just how that is, so. I would love to play first. I'm definitely going to keep this. How can I not run Chalice when I'm drinking from the Chalice? That is fair. I'm going to keep this, because then, like, yeah. Alright, this is totally fine, in my opinion. I think I'm going to lead off with Mutavault. There's a very real chance I just want to activate Mutavault, so. And then if they grief me, it doesn't really matter what they take. I still have a force for them, so. And I don't really want to play this Tide Shaper right now and put the shields down. It's not a good idea. They didn't mulligan again, which is kind of sucky, but. Faithless Looting. I don't really want to let them discard cards right now. So we are going to force that. I'm using Negation because I don't want them flashing it back. So we just tick Chalice up. Oh, that was a good draw. Alright. And this is like... Wasteland could be really good here, but Mutavault's also really good here too, so we'll see. But I don't want them putting... Basically, if you can stop the creatures from going into the graveyard, that's usually the best way to go about like winning these matches. Fuck, they have another one. Don't let them put creatures in the graveyard. I mean, they might just have like double looting and tomb. Like that would just be terrible, but we're not beating that, so it's a lot easier to stop this before this becomes a problem. Oh, fuck that. That's useless. I don't care. So they had Prismatic Ending to deal with like oh, that's actually good. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off their stupid red mana. I don't want them flashing back Faithless Looting if they just have like a swamp. They just wasted their Prismatic Ending, so hopefully they don't have another answer to this. That's the hope anyway. Nothing. All right, excellent. Okay. Now they're in a situation where, like, even if they reanimated like a Gristlebrand, it probably wouldn't be enough. Nothing. Okay, this is good. See, we got this. Does this matter? If I play this as a land, I could potentially play like a Lord and still attack with this. That seems reasonable. I think 2 life is a good number for them to be at if we can get them there. Sure. They unmask themselves. Okay, so they have here Serenity. Destroys all artifacts and enchantments. Yeah. That's good. See, this is another reason, like Brazen Borrower, if they decide to go for Sarah's Emissary to protect themselves, we can just still bounce it and kill them, potentially. Okay. They went for a Gristlebrand. Okay, so, like... Alright. This still might not work out for them. I don't know if they want to go to 1 here. That seems like... Fuck, that is super dangerous. Alright, I guess let's see what they can do. So if we find a Merfolk Trickster, we win. But they might just reanimate another thing, so... The Unmask was important for them. Generally, like, the... Oh, Halo Isolation is... Yeah. Generally, like, the thing is, they have more cards in their graveyard. Or they have more ways to bring a thing back from the graveyard than they have to put into it. So we have Lord wins. No Lord here, unfortunately. So this is gonna get bad really quick. We're not dead yet. You know what? Actually, we are pretty close. This is not good. There's not really a reason not to play this. I can't attack here. If we found the Island Walk Lord, we actually had it because they were, vulnerable to that. Even a Merfolk Trickster would have done it because we could tap this and then just attack them. Yeah, I just have to take 10. Fuck. Alright, well, I mean, we were close, but, like, they had too much stuff. They had, what, 2 Faithless Lootings, and they found the Unmask in time, so... They got us, like, on the exact turn with that thing, too, so we didn't, like, have Brazen Borrower to help us. Can you imagine, like, in response to grief, we just bounce Gristlebrand? Like, that would have been sick. I think they flashback looting here, probably. Yeah. Discard Emissary and try to reanimate that and target, would say, creatures. I think we're dead. Because if they have any reanimation spell, we just lose. So even if if I find an, no, okay, so we're not dead if we find exactly, like, another Brazen Borrower. That's not it. Alright, well, they fucking got us. Like, they were on the play, and their hand in game 2 was just fantastic, so that sucked. We were really close. So. Oh well. Happens. Can't have it all the time, I guess. I think, like, in general, Reanimator's not a bad matchup for us, but it's incredibly mulligan dependent, and, like, they didn't mulligan either time, so there is that. No, generally, like, once the creature's in the graveyard, like, then you're in trouble because it's actually a lot easier for them to reanimate it than it is for them to put it in the graveyard. So that's why, like, I choose to focus on countering, like, looting and tomb over stuff like they also have, like, animate dead, exhume, and reanimate. So I would love to be on the play. Think we actually play here. We just play Glasspool first. Or yeah, like, otherwise, like, I mean, if they wasteland, it's not great, but this lets us do stuff on turn 2. Mold of 5? Ooh, what are we up against here? Alright, come on. Okay. Wasteland, of course. Whatever, it's fine. I don't think I'm gonna play the Tide Shaper just yet. I don't know what if with this might just be something I pitch to force, or I might want to hold on to it. Oh yeah, like this is important. Like I definitely want to turn that into an island if possible. Yeah, this Master of the Pearl Trident is not relevant. Fuck me. Alright, well, we're gonna die to this. Sylvan Library, you have to force it, so we're up against depths. Okay, Bog is not relevant to us, at least. Oh, that's great. Let's turn off this stupid Thespian stage. We have lots of answers to it, at least, so. They discarded the Maze of Ith. That's kind of good. As long as this is alive, then this is not going to be copying a Dark Depths. And we do have 2 Petty Thefts in order to bounce a Merit Lodge token. They haven't... I don't know. If they don't play a land, then you can also consider bouncing this thing. No, they played Yavimaya. So 2 cards in hand. There might be 2 more lands. Alright, well, we have to play the Vial. So even if they had crop rotation, it wouldn't do anything with just the stage. Well, that's a problem card. Oh, that's fine. We can get True-Name out. This thing's not going to be blocking us, so we may as well attack. So we got to be careful because this thing can block and then use it and then become a 3/4. So they have tons of mana, but it doesn't seem like a lot to do with it. Just Reclaimer. Now that this card is dangerous because there are things they can find with this that matter. That's actually good. All right. I imagine they're probably just going to kill Mutavault with this Wasteland. Let's see, is it safe for me to play True-Name here? I don't think they can actually do very... Like, maybe Plague Engineer is a thing, but I'm willing to try to get this in play right now. Okay. Okay, so they sacrifice Thespian stage. Alright, that makes sense. They have a Depths, but... We have 2 ways to get through this. Oh, are they gonna fucking... They have crop rotation on top. Fuck me. I put the shields down for a second, and then, like, they just... They're literally... Like, their last card was crop rotation. That sucks. Alright. Are they gonna do it right now? Yeah, they are. Well, you just lose. Fuck. I guess I shouldn't have got greedy and played this True-Name. The problem is, like, there's just way too many dangerous things that they have in this deck that, like, I didn't want to drag it out longer than it needed to be, but their last card was rotation, so that sucks. That's probably my fault, but we need to spend. We need Dismember. God. Honestly, like I don't really like Force that much against them. Stuff like Sylvan Library is definitely a pain in the ass, but Force is not generally where you want to be against this deck either. I think this card is something that we want for this match, though. Now, if they play Reclaimer, I'm definitely going to Dismember it. I was not covered up to it 4 times in a row because they could have just. So here's the problem. Like, I actually wasn't covered because they could have wastelanded my Mutavault and then did it, and then I would have had exactly 1 Petty Theft up. So, um, I think they could sequence it so that they're actually not vulnerable. That's kind of the problem. So what would happen is they could like get like the. That's not great. They could get the depths and get like the Thespian stage, but not activate it until their turn. So that way they could then also protect it against the petty theft with Sageri's Step. So I wasn't actually protected there if they had it. Let's see. I don't want to hit the other lands, just because then Wasteland can just deal with it anyway. If I would have had a basic island instead of the Mutavault, I think I would have been fine to just pass with 2 borrowers, but the problem was just having 1 wasn't enough. I needed to have 2 of them there, and if I didn't have 2 of them, then I was basically shields down regardless of what I did. Because I couldn't play around the protection land. Of course they have another one. Oh, that's not good. Alright, well, I may as well get the damage in at least. I'm so because they have this Sylvan Safekeeper here, petty theft is not worth very much. So it might be in my best interest to just play it as a flash flying creature here that can attack through this. Oh, they go to 5. Okay, so then this plan might work. Depends on what happens here. Discard Wasteland. That seems fine. What are they doing? It's just like Knight of the Reliquary. That's not a Green Sun for 1. Is it Dryad Arbor? I guess this makes sense. They can still. They can, yeah, they can still. Or no, they get Reclaimer. That makes sense to block. But I can force them to, like, blow up all their lands if they want to keep this thing. Still, I probably need to play this Borrower here just because it puts him to 2. That's worth a lot. Do you have fucking Pyroblast, really? Alright, well, it doesn't matter that they countered it because they would have just blown it up anyway, so it's not like it being uncounterable made a difference. That sort of helps. Okay. So let's see. If I attack with the Tide Shaper, what's going to happen is they'll sacrifice a Wasteland to give a creature Shroud. I can Petty Theft it, though. That might be fine. So they can maybe sacrifice... see, like, I have to be careful. Like, I don't want them to counter the Petty Theft with the Safekeeper. So what happens if I attack with both things? Like, that might be fine. I don't think they're going to block. I think this is okay. I'm willing to let one of these die if it means that I might get in extra damage here. I'm going to Crop Rotate. That's less than ideal. Plateau? Oh, are you telling me that you have another Pyroblast? Or like a Swords? Okay, I can live with this. I can't really live with this. Yeah, bouncing it's not really an option here. Which means if they fuck, they had like Swords too. Oh my, this is like so bad. All right. I still can't bounce any of these things because I will lose the I will like the Petty Theft is going to get countered and then I'll lose the Brazen Borrower, so it's all really really bad. I needed to get the 2 damage in there. My only hope is that they get Grady and draw another card, but I don't see that happening. They're not going to pay 4 life here. There's no way. Ugh. Well, I don't have a choice. I have to cast it, so. And just try. Sure, they had multiple swords here. Alright, well. Then, yeah, we just lose. This does nothing. They're gonna get a thing. I have nothing to pressure them, and then they're gonna get yeah, like they can do all of this super easily. They get the Thespian stage here, and then next turn they get the Dark Depths, and it's just over. Alright, I can concede this. Like, I've actually lost the game. There's no draw that can bring me back from that, unfortunately. The Safekeeper really early was just devastating because it meant that none of our, like, interaction actually worked. That's rough. Like, I felt like we were pretty close in, like, both of those games where it's like, okay, well, it's definitely possible where we could, like, get there, but just did not work out that way. They just had everything they needed when they needed it, so. And our draws ended up being just slightly too clunky at the end. Oh well. Like, that is a difficult matchup, so it's like, we can't be too upset about losing it, because, like, that is one where the Wasteland is a little bit better than the Mutavault, so we're going to keep this. Yoria and the Sky Nomad. Okay, so this is probably Death and Taxes, which means this hand's actually not too bad for that. Well, that's not amazing to start with. So this also means now Trickster is going to have a very hard time doing what it needs to do. But I'm probably going to have to Tideshaper this, or turn this into a... Oh, okay, yeah, then we definitely, if we can turn this into an island, then we might have some hope here. I'm not that concerned about this. May as well just attack the mana. It might work. I don't think I want to let them do that. Because they might not be able to cast spells now. Interesting. They can sacrifice this thing. Okay. I don't think I'm going to play the Cavern here. I want to keep it up just in case I draw True-Name Nemesis, so, like, they can't just wasteland it preemptively or something like that. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to Tideshaper this thing. Alright, maybe they have swords? They have to swords this master right now. But it does mean they did just top deck this, so that is still good news for us. Yeah, I still don't see any benefit to actually playing that right now, so I can't really attack because they can just, like, block and kill one of my Tideshapers with that, and I don't want that. I want their mana to just do nothing right now. So that way, if I just draw a Lord, I can attack them for 9, and they're just gonna die. Well, it was a nice dream. Alright, so are we gonna draw, like, a threat before they draw a land? This is an interesting stalemate we have going on here. So we have almost as many lords in our deck as they have white sources in their lands. What's up, grumpy purple sloth? We're getting our shit kicked in a little bit today just because things are a bit rough, but, you know, it's fine. That's just how life is sometimes. However, we're in a very good position. If we just, like, draw Lord of Atlantis, we can just, like, just decimate the opponent right now. So that ain't it. Alright, next turn I will probably play this Cavern just so that I have Force of Will up. I mean, I didn't anticipate that I was going to get to 5 mana to hard cast a Force, but... Well, they have Rishin in port. Okay, well, that still doesn't actually help them at all. I'm not really bothered by it. Like, they could just, like, sacrifice this thing at any given point, but... Sure, they may as well port a land. There's no reason not to. It's not terrible, actually. It does help a little bit, but it's only going to be a 2/2 if I play it, so... However, it does mean I have Force of Will up at the moment. But Mother of Runes is protecting this 3/1, and I need Island Walk to get past it. Or, like, even a Trickster would be fine. Sort of. Because then I could... Well, I don't know. I could consider an attack, but... Alright, sure. They can Wasteland this thing if they want. We're playing Legacy. You see some Wastelands and Rishin imports here. Yeah, that's what's going on. Sometimes Legacy just has these really weird games where, like, both players have just kind of, like, locked each other out of doing stuff, so it just comes down to, like, who draws something first. That's part of the game. Alright, so this is interesting. So, I could attack with this Tide Shaper, and then if they block with this thing... It still doesn't work. I have to do this in their turn. I do this on their end step, and then they can't block. Alright, or they can't block and have this thing live. Ah, fuck. They just put Yorion in hand. They're not anywhere close to casting it, so... Well, they're not going to port me this turn, so there's that. But I think I can just tap this thing down now and force them to tap the Mother of Runes. Then I can attack with this Tide Shaper and this Trickster if I want, and then they don't really have good blocks on it. Like, this would just trade. They're left with a 1/1 and their mana's still locked out. And this just increases the upside if we draw the Lord. Oh, they just F6'd. Okay. Neat. Well, there we go. That's going to change the calculus a little bit. So I guess the same thing applies. We attack with this Tide Shape. Actually, no, we can attack with everything now because Mother of Runes is not going to do shit. They're just going to take a bajillion damage and die. It's going to block and like they take 6 damage, and it's not going to kill it, so sure. But now this True-Name Nemesis is what we were waiting for, because now this is in time to win the game. They don't have an answer to True-Name. True-Name is going to kill them. Yeah, excellent. Okay, that was rough. We barely got there. All right, Force of Will is not really good in this match. We want Dismember and we want Suspend. Null Rod is not irrelevant because it does turn off like Aether Vial, and if they're playing like GT, it will stop that too. But I don't think that we particularly need that card. I think the rest of our stuff is just better. So, Force of, yeah, like the thing is they're an Aether Vial deck and they're also a Cavern of Souls deck, so you don't really want Force of Will unless, like, yeah, you'd have to have basically nothing else to like bring in order to consider keeping Force, but we have at least 4 creature interaction cards to bring in, so I think we need to do that. Like, Dismember is really good here. Like, if they don't have Mother Runes, then Suspend just, like, absolutely fucking wrecks Kaldra. If they just go in, like, go for the turn 3 Kaldra play, and they don't have the protection, then, yeah, Suspend will just ruin their lives. Exile the token, they just, like, okay, Stoneforge did nothing, basically. You just spent 4 mana for a 1/2. This hand's fine. Actually, no, this hand's great. We have an Aether Vial, so we're gonna keep this. Okay. It just keeps getting better the longer you look at it, because we have Brazen Borrowers too, so sure. You have a vial, I have a vial. Okay, well this might be this isn't gonna be like the same as before because they have vial to put things in play, but definitely like hitting the white mana is not the worst plan in the world, just because it means it turns off like Swords to Plowshares. Okay, well they obviously don't have a sword, or they would have used it. They can tick this up to 2. But they also don't have Mother Runes, so like if their plan is just Stoneforge here, that's not going to work very well for them. So I don't know what's going on, but like Dahlia's not that great either. Yeah, it's not going to stop us. A March is another great interactive piece here. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to attack with this Tide Shaper, see if they want to block it, and we're going to Vial in Lord of Atlantis. I don't know if I want to play this Tide Shaper or not, to be honest. Like, it might just be better to hold up this Petty Theft. Let's see if they want to block with Thalia here. I don't think they're going to. But give them the opportunity to, like, throw away Thalia, so... I could go for the damage for them, but I want this off the board. And I guess I could play another Tide Shaper here. It's not terrible. Or I could just bounce their Aether Vial. That actually seems pretty devastating because they don't have any lands. I like that plan a lot more, actually. And just play this Tide Shaper. Just put a fucking clock on him. Like, now we're just killing them. Salty Seagull. Oh my god, what's going on? How do I like Brazen Borrower with Merfolk? Brazen Borrower is fucking fantastic in this deck. So, it's... First of all, alright, it addresses a few very, very fundamental problems this deck has. One, its interaction for creatures, which this deck sorely, sorely misses. It also interacts with stuff like Ensnaring Bridge, which, if resolved against us, will just win the game instantly. But now we have interaction for the bridge. We can bounce the bridge and then get our counterattack in, so helps with that a lot too. It's a 3/1 flying creature, which means that it gets through a lot of nonsense in the ground. Like, you can have all the Monastery Mentor tokens in the world, but still at the end of turn, I'm going to flash in Borrower, and if you don't have an answer to it, you're taking 3 damage in the air. So I've won games like that before, and that's really great. You see how it is against like Merit Lodge and against like Cauldron Complete and Batterskull. It's really, really good. Yeah, Brazen Borrower just does so many things this deck wants, and it's like repeal, except it draws you a 3/1 flyer, which is really what we want a lot. It helps against Delver a lot too, because it's a card they definitely have to like deal with. All right, well, yeah, we're definitely keeping this. This hand's fine. So, saw my status. You want to come shitpost? Oh, damn! I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ugh. You know what? You came at just the right time. You helped us turn that around. We kind of got nailed by Reanimator, and like Depths also nailed us pretty hard, but I think our matchup against Death and Taxes has improved significantly. So I'm very pleased with how that is at the moment. So this might be Delver of Secret. This could be the Jeskai Breach deck. There's a lot of stuff here. We're definitely going to play Silvergill Adept, though. Let's not walk into Daze. Like, let's just get this out here. I want to draw cards while I still can. This True-Name Nemesis is probably going to be really good. Usually against these decks, True-Name is fantastic, so... We might be taking Vial up to 3 as well. And hopefully this March will do something if this is like Delver. Well, they didn't play anything on turn 1, so... Oh, this could be like Stoneblade. might see Stoneforge Mystic. Not terrible. Like, this isn't the end of the world if we see this, because we still have lots of interactive stuff for it. Hey, that's fine. You can lurk all you want. I appreciate it so much. I'm just here out. I want to. This is a match where I think this card is going to be worth testing. So they got Batterskull. Interesting. Okay, I can live with that. Well, that means they're definitely not blocking with this Stoneforge Mystic, so I can pretty freely attack with Silvergill and I don't have to worry about it. They know True-Name's coming. Oh, this is just getting... We're definitely taking Vial up to 3 now. They can't block or they can't put Batterskull out. And Batterskull's their only hope of stopping this. J.K. Torborg with the raid! Excellent! So yeah, we had a real rough start to this league, but it looks like we're turning it around. So this... I think this is going to be a good match for us. I don't think this Batterskull is going to be doing very much. This Vial's going to 3. We're going to get another True-Name in play. We're going to copy it with Glasspool Mimic. They're getting wrecked. Most of these decks have a hard time winning against one True-Name Nemesis. They have to win against 3 of them now. So I get to keep 1 back against Batterskull. And then I get to attack with 2 of them every turn, so they're gaining 0 life. And if they go for something like if they decide that they want to dress down and try to do stuff, I still have stuff like March of Swirling Mist and Brazen Borrower, so like it's gonna be very difficult for them, I think. That's pretty good too. I don't even know. I don't need to like rush this either. Like I could definitely like there's so many options for this, but I think I'm gonna hold back with 1 True-Name right now just because I want to try to bounce the token with the Batterskull. They're going to put it in play right now, and it's not going to matter. Sure. And if I really, really need to, I still have this up, but, like... Force of Will pitching Hull Breacher. Okay, so that's cool. Unfortunately for them, it's still not really going to do anything. Like, I guess that's fine. You can counter the Petty Theft, but... We're definitely going to just put in Glasspool Mimic. And we have this March up if we really need to phase this thing out for some reason. Alright. No fear of Stifle, not even a little bit. True-Name Nemesis, okay. So this is definitely a Stoneblade deck, like, old school Stoneblade. There will be no blocking of any kind. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but I can live with this. I am still easily winning this race. They have 1 card in hand. It is not going to be enough. Oh, they're like, can I kill them right now? Like, they're tapped out here, right? This is 4/4. It's not quite enough. Oh, it is so close. I think I just attack with these 2, play this True-Name, and they're just dead. I mean, I don't really see how else like they're getting out of this. I don't know. Maybe I don't need to. Maybe I can just Petty Theft this Germ token, and like if I do that, that's also fine. Like that's still winning because then I can still attack with both of these, and it's okay. So this also keeps up March if I need it. Now, if I really need to, I can march and I can exile a card, or to like, if let's say they somehow played like Supreme Verdict here, I could phase out my 2 true names. So there's not really a lot to be concerned about right now. They're at 6, so they have to do something, or this true name just kills them. Oh, that's actually a you know what? I did not think about that. Okay, you know, that was a mistake. They're going to gain 7 life here because I totally neglected that. They could equip the Batterskull if they found the land. Which means... alright, well... Alright, then I kind of need to... I gotta do something here. They have 1 card in hand. I guess I'm still in the situation where I just play, like... So they're going to gain 7 life here. I think I just play Master and attack and then, like, kill them next turn. That's the plan. That has to be it. Alright. I can survive. Oh, you know what? I could have petty theft the Batterskull here, too. That was also an option. Well, they can't block this. I think this is also still winning. Because they gain 7 life, they go to 9, but they're still dead. Yeah, I think this is still the safest bet. Right. Dress down. Okay, I guess that's gonna happen. It's not that bad right now because, like, their true name is gonna die from this. Hmm. If that true name blocks anything, it's actually dead, because yeah, I will bounce the Batterskull. Stoneforge can't put the Batterskull back in play here anyway, so... Um... Do I even care? No, I have to do this, right? I need their true name to die. They take 2. Like, I think there's... This is still pretty close. Do I use the March here? I don't think I want to use the March. No, actually, I could use the March on the true name here. I could protect my own True-Name Nemesis. I can let these 2 trade off. Or next turn, I could just play my own... I can play another True-Name Nemesis, and that might still be fine. Yeah, the question is, do I want to let all the True Names die? Because they can play Batterskull again next turn, but I can also just play another True-Name Nemesis, and I think that's okay. So I'm going to let this happen. Yeah, I think this is alright. Because now, like, it's gonna take, like, a lot of their turn to do this. Alright, that helps a little bit. So now if I can, like, phase out their creature and, like, this is still fine. If they swords to plow, like, they could swords this thing here. I guess if they do, I'll just phase this out so they can't actually block. Or so they can't gain, like, life. Yeah. Like, that should do it. Now they have to deal with this True-Name Nemesis, and, like, I still have the option to, like, phase out the token, so we'll see what happens. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Oh man, they're fucking desperate now. Like, I don't think this matters. They brainstorm here. That's okay. You play Island. All right, but, like, did you find something? Because I don't know if that makes any difference here. Prismatic Ending, huh? Um, okay. Hold on. Okay. That does it. March of Swirling Mist. There we go. Yeah, alright. Just attack. They're tapped out. They can't do anything. So this card actually did what it was supposed to do. It protected us when we needed to win the race. Excellent. And they had a lot, like, and we still were able to get there, so that's awesome. We beat the dress down, which was pretty great too. All right, yeah, we had a lot going for us too. So, all right, this deck does play some Hull Breachers in it. That is worth noting. It has, like, Stoneforge Mystics, so we probably want the Dismembers too. All right, appreciate it. Thank you for coming by. All right, we have to see how do we beat this in game 2. I think that we want Dismember for this. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of cards here that are really good. So, like, maybe what we have to do is what's bad. I don't think March is, like, bad by any means. I think the card's fine. It did some serious work there. That was kind of cool. But they do have true names in their deck. That's dangerous. Yeah, they have their own Batterskull, their own Jace the Mind Sculptor, so stuff, and they have Hull Breacher, which Hull Breacher means that they're probably jamming Days Undoing. So it's fuck. What do I like? There's so many directions we can go in here. They probably have, like, Delver of Secrets in this deck. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I think Merfolk is awesome. Maybe that, like, I don't usually like siding out Tideshaper, but I'm not actually sure how good Tideshaper is like against their deck. I mostly just play it as a 1-mana 2/2. Like, all the rest of these cards are really useful. I think that March comes out and, like, probably Suspend comes in. I guess maybe a Force. We might want Flusterstorm, actually, because that's better at fighting over these things. All right, you know what? We're going to try it like this and see how this goes. No, it's difficult because, like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, depends on, like, what numbers of cards they have in their deck. Like, all of the things that we were playing are very reasonable against their deck. I don't think I can keep this hand. I can't actually cast the Silvergill Adept. They mulled. I have to mulligan as well. I think I have to keep this and I get rid of a Tideshaper. I don't really like this, but I have to do something here, so. Alright. Yeah, we have a lot of useful cards in this match, so that's good at least. It's just a matter of trying to figure out how do we defeat them. That's all. So we draw another basic island. Oh, Mutavault's not bad. But I can't play the Tideshaper here anyway, so I guess I'm gonna play the Glasspool Shore as a land and then pass, and then try to play Silvergill next turn. Yeah, because I need the Tideshaper in hand so that I can actually cast this dummy. I don't have another Merfolk right now. I mean, if they want to force, like, this thing, that's fine. This might be a good spot to play Mutavault. There's definitely a world in which then I want to just attack with Mutavault, play Tideshaper next turn. I don't know if they're playing Wasteland or not. There's a reasonable chance there, but they're also a Jeskai deck, so they might not have a lot of Wastelands. Their mana's kind of tough. It wasn't a bad draw. This definitely helps us win a lot of these races. If they want to just... Okay, so... We have to be careful because stuff like Flash in Hull Breacher is now a threat. Because they... Yeah, okay, so... That is a threat here. Let's attack with the Silvergill Adept and see what happens. They might try to Flash in Hull Breacher and then, like, Daze Undoing us or something like that. Okay, well, that's not going to happen now, so I think we're a lot safer to just play whatever we want. So, in that case... Well, in that case, I would have liked to attack with this thing, but instead I might just jam Tideshaper and then Tideshaper again. They're not countering this thing ever, so I want to save the Cavern of Souls for this Trickster. So I don't have to be worried about getting, like, Daze Undoing this turn, but next turn I'll probably hold up the Trickster. I maybe attack with Mutavault, maybe not. We'll see how this turn shakes out. You just have to be wary of the 3 open mana, so that's all. That's where things get dangerous. Okay. think I can attack with this now. I need to start getting in damage, so. Oops. I assume we'll see like Swords to Plowshares on Mutavault. Oh, Snapcaster Mage? Oh, that's not good. Well, yeah, that's rough, but it is what it is. Sure. They did tap correctly, alright, so that's going bye-bye. Still not terrible. I'm just forcing them to use the threats in their hands right now, so. Alright. Well, I definitely have to cast this Merfolk Trickster now. Teferi's not exactly what I wanted to see here. So now that we're vulnerable to bounce plus swords. But at least, like, maybe it ticks up and, or, you know, that's... Yeah, that seems to be what they're going to go with here. So maybe we could find a Lord. That would be okay. Well, that's fucking fantastic. I'm very happy to see that card. Could put them to 14, or I could go after Teferi here. Let's see. If they're about to... No, they can't do their thing right now. If I put it to 1, then True-Name can clean it up next turn. I really want this thing to die. They have nothing here, alright. True-Name is definitely one of the best cards we have against this deck. And I will absolutely just jam this Glasspool Mimic and copy True-Name Nemesis. Okay. Supreme Verdict? Oh, that's fucking brutal. That's really, really bad because like I have not seen any of these decks playing Supreme Verdict. Like they're playing fucking Stoneforge Mystic in their deck. Like why? I don't know. Like it seems like I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of these Jeskai decks actually playing like Verdict, so that's super horrible. Well, that's not bad. We can actually use that. Okay. I don't really like what's going on here right now, but I'm going to play this as a land because there might be a situation where I want to bounce something. This Otawara is actually uncounterable, so if they go for yeah, if they go for the Day's Undoing here, I can actually like this uncounterably bounces this nonsense, so we might just get there. Okay. Yeah, that verdict was pretty brutal. So they're definitely gonna they cast the Stoneforge because it's free. We have Cauldron complete here. Okay. This is gonna be difficult to deal with. I have to take the damage. Cauldron complete is definitely coming down, and there's not much I can do about it. I guess I could bounce the Teferi and I still have this up. It does give me an idea of what's going on here, but I don't really want to do that because like I need to. I only have, okay. So here's the problem. Like I have to beat the Cauldron complete when I don't have a good way to do that right now. But I also have to. I don't have a good answer through Teferi either. Maybe I have to just take another hit here. I'll put this one on Rogue. Like if I just bounce the Hull Breacher here, it doesn't actually do anything. That's the problem. Like I need them to cast the Days Undoing so that I can bounce the Hull Breacher and then potentially refill my hand. What are they bouncing here? Oh, they're just drawing a card. Okay, that makes sense. They have the mana to go for this. Yeah, they can put Kaldra out. I get to bounce one thing uncounterably. So this actually is doing something right now. But I need them to cast this Days Undoing here. Oh, fuck me. Alright, we're dead. That is gonna fucking ruin my life. Alright. Um... Yikes. I think we just lose. They can just equip this fucking GT to the Stoneforge Mystic. But I can't really do anything about it. They kind of need to screw up here. Like, they had too much stuff. I can't believe that this deck has Supreme Verdict in it. They're like, I don't know. I looked through so many lists like this, and like none of them had Verdict, so it did not even cross my mind to play around it this time. If they equip the GT to the Stoneforge, I think I just concede. Well, maybe not yet, because I guess I still could draw a True-Name Nemesis and like be back in this game, but I have like one turn to do that. Because they'll use a counter to kill this borrower. I don't have a way to beat the GT. Alright, what do we got? That's not gonna do it. Alright, we'll give up. This is too much. I can't beat that. Okay, so alright, we have to reassess here. You know what? Maybe we want just regular Force of Negations. Or you know what? Maybe the other plan is we could just bring in Dismembers too. Like this card is totally fine. We're on the play. I kind of like having this on the play. Just don't like the Teferi, but there's not. It's tough to deal with. The problem is like most of the regular like dedicated Hull Breacher decks don't really have a lot of creatures, so I don't have to worry about like interaction for that like Dismember or whatnot. But this is like playing kind of a hybrid approach. It looks like. Well, they actually have a strong Stoneforge package in it. So the kind like it's so bad if this Dismember doesn't resolve. I still gotta cut one card. And it also means the lords matter a little bit more. Because Island Walk... maybe they don't. Maybe I need to rely on them less here. Take one out. But I want to keep the Tide Shapers in so I keep the curve low. Yeah, this is fine. I just have to protect the Aether Vial, that's it. A Force is probably getting pitched to a Force. Silvergill can rebuild our hand a little bit. They mold to 6? Okay, well, that's helpful a little bit. Alright. Okay, well, they don't have Force in their opening hand. That's nice to know. If we draw a land, that would be awesome. Like Cavern of Souls would be preferable. Pithing Needle on Aether Vial. Let's not do that. I'm gonna lose if they Pithing Needle my Aether Vial right now, so as much as I don't want to do that, I kinda need to. Well, that's very helpful, because now we get a good attack in next turn. Ponder? Okay. They chose to shuffle, so their fucking library was just, like, garbage. They found Scalding Tarn. Alright. Alright, good. Tick up. Probably won't put the Lord in play. They seem to have just like F6 through this turn. So you know what? It might actually be worth it here. We can, if they had an F6, I don't think I would have, but they have nothing, and they just like telegraph that they have nothing. Like Snapcaster's not going to be blocking this because of the Trickster, so they have to. They're going to probably look for like Pyroblasts now. But I need to kill them before they like get a game going. That's the plan. We have a very aggressive hand here, and it looks like their hand's really clunky. So if we can kill them before they actually like find, say, like Stoneforge Mystic, then we'll be in good shape. Maybe they play Stoneforge here. Or they could have like Prismatic Ending, go after the Master of the Pearl Trident. That would make sense. I'm guessing Stoneforge. I think Ending is better for us. Yeah, like actually I don't know. Like this might just be fine too, because like no matter what they find with this, the Trickster tapping this down is going to be excellent. I get a huge attack in this turn, and like they're not doing anything next turn. They found Jite. What the fuck are you doing, Jite? Jite is not doing dink. We're not taking this up. That's pretty good too. Alright, well, let's just attack with everything. Fuck them. How can you get Jite here? Unless you have Cauldron or, like, Batterskull in hand. Like, if you Verdict here, I think I'm okay with that. I just Violin Trickster anyway. And like, if you Verdict, you just die, so it's not gonna work. Like, we're pretty far ahead here. Like, looking like we've got this one. I don't know what sequence they need, but like having the Trickster with the Vial here means it's going to be very difficult for them. They need to have like Prismatic Ending plus like a Force and the Batterskull in hand. And if they have like any, even that, it wouldn't be enough here because they have to get rid of this too. So like, fuck, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do this, but it doesn't seem likely that it's gonna get there. Okay, well, what are you doing with this mana? Okay, they are going for Prismatic Ending here, so I think I just tap down Stoneforge and I just win. There's no way they can get rid of enough damage now. They need to kill off two things, and they can only deal with one mana. Even if they, like, say, Swords to Plowshares on their own Stoneforge Mystic, that wouldn't actually help them. This is definitely where we tick up Aether Vial too. Alright, let's see. What tricks do you have for me, opponent? Because I don't think you have anything. Excellent. Alright, that was an interesting match. Alright, so they got us with Verdict in game 2, but otherwise it kind of went the way we needed it to. That's generally how like I've been approaching these Stoneforge Mystic matches. Like I just want to kill them aggressively while they dink around with Stoneforge, and then just like interact with whatever the thing is that Stoneforge is trying to do. Like if they put out Cauldra or Batterskull, just deal with the Germ token. Just like tap it down or bounce it or something, and then just kill them before like, because it takes so much mana. Like it takes their entire turn 2 and like turn 3 to do that. And if you have a fast enough start, you can just kill them through that nonsense, and it's great. So yeah, that definitely will get the job done. It's the more control oriented lists where they like try to go into a longer game and just like focus more on like the undoing combo. I think yeah, then we have to be a little bit more careful with that. And I can't like it's interesting that this person had Supreme Verdict in, because I think a lot of those decks should probably be playing more of that card. It's just out of all the lists I had looked at, not very many, like almost none of them do. They were only playing like Pyroclasm in the sideboard, so it was just kind of a weird choice to me that the one that's like more creature oriented is the one that's actually playing like the Verdict. So, but maybe they're adapting. So you know what, if we see more Verdicts in the sideboards of these lists, then we have to adapt our strategy to match it. So maybe that just means we go underneath it. And I think if that's the case, then definitely Tide Shaper being a 1 mana 2/2 is going to matter a lot, because that's going to help us really get underneath that card. So, all right, let's see if we can finish strong here. We're on the play. Excellent. This is really good if we're not up against a Wasteland deck. So I guess I'm going to keep it. We'll see what happens here. Like, I'm 1000% playing Silvergill in turn 2, right? I don't think I need to tell them that I'm Merfolk here. Let them think that I'm like a Goblins deck or something. Okay, Misty Rainforest. So this might be Delver. It is Delver. Okay. Well, then this is going to be difficult for them to get through. I'll show them True-Name Nemesis, so they know they have to do something. Alright. And I might not attack next turn. They could have days here, and like that's fine. I think what I want to do is I want to let this attack here, and I'm going to try to ambush it with Trickster next turn. Or I could just race it too. Like, that is totally an option. But maybe I save this for the next creature they play. Glasspool copying True-Name is definitely... Oh, they didn't find it? They just concede. Yes! Their top 3 cards were just fucking garbage. They didn't find the flip for Delver of Secrets, and they knew there's no way. They just could not get there. Man, fucking terrible brainstorm. I guess maybe they didn't have like more lands either in hand. They were just hoping they could find like a fetch land and an instant or something. Yeah, they weren't getting there in just one land for sure because we had way more interaction for that. So we're definitely going to take out Force of Will. But this is a match where we want this march. So bring in Suspend, and I think we'll bring in Dismember. I'm still not sure if I really want Dismember against these decks or not, but it's either that or Flusterstorm, and I'm not sure that Flusterstorm is what I want either. It's hard to say. This card's not bad, actually. Like this is definitely very reasonable against them. But it feels really bad if you go for like Dismember and then they end up having if they have like days or something. You know what? Maybe we just play a little bit more cautiously. We'll bring in Flusterstorm because it doesn't cost us life, and like I think that card's a little bit better than Force. I don't really like this hand. This is not gonna do anything. This is a little bit better, but it's not a lot better. Guess that. We're just praying that this Aether Vial resolves. I don't think going to 5 is where we want to be right now. Okay, well, they ponder here. That's probably good news for us. If we draw an island, this hand's, like, improves a little bit. Still not fantastic, but it's workable. Alright. I think if they have days, they probably will counter this. Sure. I can't. So we just need to rely on drawing a land, so... Well, they don't have a Delver yet, so that's good. Gives us some time to deal with our stuff. And worst case, we can just play the Tide Shaper as a 2-2, so... Well, that's fine. What are the chances they have another days? Okay. They don't. That's not a bad card in this match either. Alright. This is definitely improving. I think this, as long as we continue to draw lands, like if we draw Cavern of Souls, we'll be in very good shape. Murktide would not be great, but we have Petty Theft for it at least. We also have Trickster to slow it down. Well, that's good. Let's see if they have Force. They do have a Force. I think I'm willing to take one hit from this thing. And then next turn I can play Trickster on this. I might be able to play Trickster and Lord. Oh, they do have days. Alright, well. Alright. It's gonna be a little bit hard. They went through 2 dazes and a Force here. Alright. Still, Trickster will slow them down a little bit. Hopefully this can buy us some time to... Yeah. Like, we're not losing yet. Because they need a little bit more than just this. Do this on the upkeep before they draw. So you have to have another Force now. Now my turn is like a lot better when I can play a Lord and attack for 6. Okay. Knight's Whisper is not a card I expected to see. Oh, you know what? They're probably playing fucking Doomsday. That might be what's going on here. All right, we figured it out. They're hiding Doomsday on us. All right. In which case we really have to like put the pressure on right now. We don't have time to dick around here. If because yeah, they're playing Knight's Whisper because this is Doomsday, and they're we are in super danger if they like ever find that. So, but I think we're winning the race here. So they have to do something now, but we have them dead next turn if they don't do anything. So they need like Dark Ritual into Doomsday. This is like one of the innovations. Like the Doomsday deck has now started playing Murktide Regent because they're trying to play like a tempo plan in addition to their combo plan. So they might have Fatal Push here. I think I just have to let that go. They still go to 2, so like that's fine. Sure, that we can just march that. So okay, that's fine too. Phase out. Phase to black. All right. Yeah, all right, they're dead. They have nothing. Yeah, your creatures are not able to block mine, so that's going to be a problem. But I need this attack to kill. All right, we got there. Excellent. So we had a bit of a rough start to the league, but we definitely turned it around. And you know what? This March of Swirling Mist actually did look pretty good. Like, I don't think there's any other card we could have possibly put in our deck that was going to save us from that last turn there. Like, March is the card, like, it got rid of 3 blockers to ensure that we got our damage in. So, I gotta say, this is pretty fucking fantastic. This does exactly what I wanted to do against these decks, where they just go wide with, like, these little creatures, and it's like, okay, nope, I'm phasing them out, so you're not attacking me, and then I get to attack you back for lethal. So, I gotta say, like, my initial impression of this card is it actually did the kind of things that we wanted it to do. Um, but yeah, that Doomsday deck is like really sick because it can like just turn 1 Dark Ritual Doomsday and just get there like that. But otherwise, like it can play like a blue black Delver list, and it's pretty scary. Murktide is a huge threat, so. But yeah, I mean this was great. And if the against that deck, then that's definitely something where if we see them cast Doomsday, we want Flusterstorm for that. This is our best counterspell against those decks because they are going to play forces back, so it matters a lot. But yeah, overall, I think this worked out pretty well. I mean, maybe if we could, maybe we play another Dismember. Like this is definitely a card that I want against the Knight of the Reliquary decks. So I'm not opposed to trying to find room to play a 3rd copy of it. We could cut 1 Glasspool Mimic for it or something like that. It's reasonable. I might do that. So, but honestly, it's on the other hand, Glasspool Mimic copying True-Name Nemesis is a way to win a lot of games too. So there's just a lot of times where you tick Vial up to 3 and you just now effectively have 8 True Names you can put into play with Vial in 3, which it makes me a lot less inclined to cut Glasspool when that interaction is so strong. And if there's not a whole lot of Plague Engineer in the world, like that will just like crush a lot of these decks, especially the Jeskai decks, because they don't have a lot of ways to deal with it. They need to have something like Supreme Verdict or maybe Dress Down plus removal of some kind, or like a flash blocker. So, and even in that case, like that's another case where March of Swirling Mist can actually help protect us because we can phase out our own true names in response to something like that. If we're up against like a mentor deck, or a Jeskai Delver deck or something like that, this card's not bad against that. Other than that, we did see the one of do something, so I think 11 islands in one of these is probably just going to be the mana base from now on. This card, there was definitely a point where this, depending on what our opponent did, like this actually would have mattered because they had Teferi in play, and this can actually be activated underneath Teferi. So, if they play like Hull Breacher and then say, all right, you know what, I'm just going to jam Days Undoing because I have Teferi out, and I know you can't do anything about it, they're going to be dead wrong because you can just bounce the Hull Breacher in response, and now all of a sudden they're passing the turn to you after just giving you 7 cards. So that's pretty awesome. And then it gives you a chance to like actually like rebuild your board a little bit. So yeah, the one of Jet, it seems like it's going to be helpful, and I'll probably keep it. The only other thing that I could say is like I'm not sure if this should be Wasteland or Mutavault. Like there definitely were some scenarios where it looked like Wasteland would have been a little bit stronger, but there were also some scenarios there where Mutavault was pretty strong on its own. So it seemed pretty even to me, and I think you can go either way. If you're playing Wasteland, though, I imagine stuff like Chalice of the Void and Rishon and Dockhand will probably be a little bit better in your deck, just because stacking mana denial effects on top of each other tend to work better. It's hard to play around Chalice when you have less mana in play, so if you're wastelanding them, Chalice will be more effective. Same thing with like Dockhand. Like if you're wastelanding them, then you can keep them off of colors easier. And we did see that like sometimes the mana control plan is good. We just happen to have 3 Tide Shapers against taxes, and they didn't get to cast spells for like the entire game, which was pretty fun. So we just had to get to a point where it's like, all right, well, we drew our threat, and you don't have spells that you can cast, so we're gonna win. And that's great. I mean, they got to 4 mana. They could almost cast Yurion because they had the islands, but they didn't. Yeah, we found True-Name in time, and that was great. So, yeah, I'm pretty. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with this. Like, I still think like the Null Rods probably need to be here, even if we're not using them right now, because there's a lot of decks that we could go up against that we are just not gonna have a fucking snowball's chance in hell of beating without the Null Rod. Like if you're going up against like any of the Karn decks, or what's the new one? There's like the Urza one with the new turtle guy, the Kappa whatever. Like that guy seems like that's probably a Null Rod deck because they're playing lots and lots of artifacts that you need to turn off quickly, or you're gonna get wrecked. So yeah, against those decks, like, and also against like if you go up against like Tess, like you need this against Epic Storm. It'll hurt them significantly because they'll have stuff like Defense Grid, and that's the problem. The brown mana decks, like even like Storm too, like anything that's relying like a lot on artifacts, they can just bring in like Defense Grid, and all of a sudden your plan to like force the important spells, well, that just got undermined because if you don't force the Defense Grid, then you're basically never forcing anything. So at that point, your only interaction is Null Rod, and that's it's really important, and it sucks that it's kind of expensive in paper and it's not a foil card in paper because it's reserve list. But I don't know. This is it's got to stay there. The same thing with like Grafdigger's Cage. I think this card is important. Like you have to have some graveyard hate in your sideboard, and like I guess this one's fine. Like if you know you're gonna if you expect like maybe Hogak's gonna be around or something, like Grafdigger's Cage will probably be the best. Like if you know that you're going up against like Reanimator, then probably Surgical's fine. Or if you know you're going to be playing like a lot of Uro decks, and Relic is a little bit better. So You just have to kind of tune your graveyard hate to what you expect. I think Cage overall is the best card, but it's only the best when you back it up with stuff. So really, and that's what a lot of those matches come down to. You have to like play graveyard hate and back it up with like counter spells and pressure. So I don't know. Overall, we went 3-2, but we lost like 2 close but like tough matches. So yeah, I can live with that. I will say though that I think the test of our 2 new cards in our list were very successful. All right, it's time. Let's go see what Fluffy Wolf's doing. It looks like he's playing a red deck. That should be fun. Everybody, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I play for your amusement just as much as mine, so I really Crazy Simo, I really appreciate. Yeah, one fish player to another. You know, we're one school. I'll be back next week. We'll probably play something else. I don't know. Maybe we'll play like Burn and Modern or something. Maybe we'll play more Yuri on Merfolk. Like there's I'll figure it out next week. But we've got more stuff to do then. So until then, everybody, you remember you can check out the replays on YouTube. They're always there after about a day or so. But that's all I've got for now. So everybody take it easy and let's go and see what Fluffy Wolf's got going on, because it looks like this is going to be fun. So toodaloo.